Yo, 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 yo. I heard you're like the crypto guy in Miami. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Definitely. So my name is Michael DiPreta. I'm 25 years young, and originally I was from the Bronx out in New York. And just about a year and a half ago, I left all my jobs. I was working 2 jobs, 70 hours a week for 4 years straight, and I was miserable. Like I literally just went to work every single day. I just took the money that I made and I just stacked it to the side. And over time, I knew nothing about investing. I mentioned it. I was mentioned to a friend, and they told me to get to investing, and I never would really thought that I was going to do it. You know, all I knew was working. All I knew was how to hustle. So, a year and a half later, I get involved, and this is back in 2022. A year and a half later, I quit my 2 jobs, working 70 hours a week, made a lot of money in crypto, and I was able to move to Miami, Florida, and now I do this full time, helping other people do the same thing as well.
How did you even get into crypto? How'd you know about it?
So, funny story. Actually, back in 2017, I was introduced to crypto by a friend of mine named Rob. And it was crazy because I didn't take it seriously. And I had no idea what crypto was at the time. So, being new to the space, nobody really knew what crypto was in 2017. And I'm telling you, like, I saw Ethereum at like $87, Bitcoin at $500 to $1,000, XRP at 2 cents, and I had no idea what I was looking at the time. So, it was like 2017 to 2020, I watched the market really go through the roof, and Bitcoin went from 1,000 to like 19,000 at the time. And I watched everything. I didn't do a thing about it. And I just watched the market go up without me. And I watched the market crash, and it scared me because I really didn't know what was going on. So I thought it was a scam. I thought that everybody was just trying to, take people's money. And I didn't understand the crypto space at the time. Comes 2020, COVID happened. So I watched Bitcoin go back down to $3,000 again. Didn't do anything. Ethereum was like at $200. XRP was like at 10 cents. But then we had all these other projects at that time, right? The compounds and the Cardanos that started to come into the space. I did nothing though. I watched the whole market, Bitcoin go from $3,000 to $69,000.
Oh man.
So I missed 2 bull runs, and you could only
No.
imagine the pain that's going on in my mind right now. Like, I really don't understand this. And there has to be something that's going on, because watching something happen 2 times, you start to really question things, because you're watching everything go up and everything go down 2 times.
Right.
So when it happened with the crash again, I'm sitting there and I said to myself, okay, there's no way that I'm gonna miss this 3rd run. So that's when I really started to get educated. And shout out to one of my friends in college. She actually ran into me when I was working a valet job, when I was working the 2 jobs, 70 hours a week. And I was telling her no for 3 years when it came to this opportunity and it came to investing. And what I had to do was I had to tell myself that I needed to do something different, because everything that I was doing, it just wasn't working out for me.
Were you a little bit scared of taking the risk to invest into crypto? It's such a new thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. At the time in 2022, a lot of people were still putting it down. A lot of people really didn't understand the space like that. So during that time, I knew that I had to do something different, because if everybody was doing one thing, that's what really stood out to me. I said, okay, there's a reason why people aren't doing the other thing. So I went and did the other thing. And because I did that, it made all the difference. I would have never saw myself in Miami, Florida. I told my boy in Budapest, Hungary, this was in Europe, that I committed to moving to Miami, Florida. And this was back in April of 2024, last year. Now I'm here almost a year now. It's about to be 2 years. I love the city. I really do out here. The opportunity, the energy, it's just absolutely amazing. And I couldn't be more grateful.
You prefer Miami over New York?
Oh, absolutely. I prefer Miami over New York any day of the week.
What's the difference? What's the sheer difference, you think?
I feel like culture.
Culture.
I feel like just the people I'm around, the energy, the people are just so ambitious out here, and I just love the atmosphere. It just makes me want to better myself in every area of my life, and just seeing the great people that are out here and the hustlers, it just makes me want to work that much harder and better my life.
Wow, that's an incredible story, man. Listen, no, so for the people that are watching, do you have any advice for any projects that are coming, any prospects that you are looking at in the crypto world?
Absolutely. So some of the projects that I'm really paying attention to right now at this moment would be Chainlink. Chainlink is the #1 Oracle solution when it comes to crypto. In simple terms, it just processes data. So think about like when you swipe your MasterCard. When you swipe that MasterCard, it takes that data from that transaction, puts it through like a computer system, and once it verifies it, it then puts it on the blockchain. So it takes it from the real world and puts it on blockchain. So that's one of the projects. Another project that I really like right now is Ondo. Ondo is in the real world asset space. And for those who don't know what that is, real world assets, they're just going to look to tokenize everything. So when you think of gold, that's a commodity. When you think of stocks, right? Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, these stocks and these commodities will be tokenized one day. So what they're going to do is they're going to put them on tokens. So you're going to be able to go in and out of a stock into crypto, crypto into a stock,
Wow.
stocks into commodities. And it will allow you to do it even when the markets aren't open. Because right now when stock markets close, you're not able to get into a stock or you're not able to get into a commodity because the markets are closed during that time. But if everything is tokenized, even if the markets are closed, with a market like crypto that runs 24/7, you're still going to be able to have that seamless transaction to go from one area to another, from one asset class to another asset class. So seamless transactions.
Yeah, I feel like that's where the world's heading towards, right? Efficiency. Like, what do you see in crypto that's not in the fiat currency?
Oh, absolutely. With that, control. You have full control over your money when it comes to crypto. With the fiat currency, right? With any dollar, like the US dollar, the euro, the yen, doesn't matter where you are in the world, they have control over it. They literally have centralized banks and institutions that are in control of these currencies. So they can print as much as they want of these currencies, and as long as the Fed of this country, which is the federal deposit, basically just the people who control the money, right? They make decisions for the US dollar in the country. If they want to cut interest rates, money's cheaper to borrow because interest rates are low, so more people take out loans. When people take out loans, they have to keep up with the money that people are taking out. So what the Fed does is they print more money. The more money that they print, the less it's worth. In crypto, there's only 21 million Bitcoin. So over time, Bitcoin's fixed to go up while our currency is fixed to go down. So crypto is the answer because it's solving a lot of problems, right? When you think of countries that aren't even banked, there are countries out here that don't even have banks or centralized institutions. So coins like XRP solve that problem. Like even the whole crypto space itself, people now have access to wealth. They have access to an asset that allows them to store wealth and build value because banks don't have that in their countries, right? There's certain countries that don't even have that. So if you have a phone and an internet connection, now people that are in countries that are maybe underdeveloped, they now have access to the whole crypto space and the whole financial system, but that's decentralized.
Right.
So it gives you control. It gives people the control. And it takes control away from those centralized authorities where you're able to tell what you want to do with your money, when you want to do it, and there's no limits, and there's limited fees, right? With fiat currency, there could be thousands of dollars worth of fees. But when it comes to crypto, those fees are way cheaper, and the transactions settle within seconds, sometimes a couple of minutes. And with fiat currency, it could take weeks, even months sometimes.
What's the downfall in crypto, to be honest? Like, what do people see negative about crypto?
I guess just the fact that they don't know how to really operate in the space the proper way. You know, I feel like it's just a lack of education and just knowing the proper procedures when it comes to the security and how to properly store your crypto in not only the hot wallets, of course, because they're connected to the internet. So you want to make sure that you keep your crypto off the hot wallets, but making sure that you store them correctly on cold storage wallets like ledgers, right? And when you buy your ledger, you want to buy it from the official website. You don't want to buy it from a website like Amazon, Target, or Best Buy, because what they do is they'll buy those ledgers, they'll hack them, they'll put malware and all this bad software in them, wrap them back up, return them to the store. Now, the customer that's going in there that knows nothing about crypto or how to store their crypto properly goes to buy that ledger. Next thing you know, their wallets are drained and they have no crypto left because they don't know the proper education of understanding where to properly get their ledger. Knowing that on the ledger's official website, it doesn't touch anybody else's hands but the company. So knowing that these ledgers are safe because they're touching very little hands. And when it comes to crypto, you want to make sure that your cold storage is touching as little hands as possible so that you know that your crypto's safe when you store it in your ledger device.
Wow, that's valuable information, man. Truly, like if somebody wants to get into crypto, like definitely buy a ledger, of course, right? So for somebody who is just starting out in crypto to like, man, I'm interested in crypto, I want to learn more, how can they learn more? Who is somebody that you trust in your network or maybe somebody you watch on YouTube? How can they get more valuable information?
Absolutely. So what I would say is I don't really watch anybody on YouTube because YouTube has a lot of misleading information. Personally, I am part of a community known as Alpha X Society, and one of my biggest mentors his name is Curtis Cobain. Shout out to my brother right there. He really allowed me to develop my crypto skills in such a small amount of time. You know, I've only been in the crypto space very heavily focused for the last 2.5 years, and I can definitely tell you with confidence that he was a person that was really able to get me right. You know, showing up to classes every week, right? I have weekly sessions that I show up to. Knowing that you have to constantly just be updated in the space and keeping up with everything, because technology moves fast. And especially with crypto, because it's so new, it moves very fast. So being up to date with all the information and just knowing what's going on and what projects to focus on and what specific categories and niches to focus on as well in the crypto space definitely keeps you ahead of the curve, and knowing where that money's flowing to and from as well.
Yeah, so the news, right? Like keeping up. So a lot of people get their information from the news. I feel like it's too late. Once it hits like the mainstream media, is that true? So if it hits the mainstream media, it's too late, like, you know.
Definitely. I would say you want to get in before the mainstream media like has that information, because when the mainstream media gets it, everybody knows about it. So that's like a sign of getting ready to get out of the market almost, you know?
Yeah.
Now that's not all the time, of course, because the market has certain cycles and it has certain phases that it has to go through. But you'll notice that there's certain signs in the market where they'll tell you, okay, this project is partnered with this, and we knew about it months ago before it was in mainstream media. So what did? We were able to capitalize on it before the public was able to see it. So we took that information and we were able to get in position before it was spread all over the news, all over the media.
Oh.
And then at that point, we're in profit because we bought these projects way before the media took it and spread it all over the place. So just getting in position and having the right information and having access to that information will really put you ahead in this game, 100%.
And you know where you can find the most information? Tapping in with my man Mike. What was your name again?
Mike DiPreta.
Mike DiPreta. So we have Mike DiPreta. Man, he's an expert in the crypto space. He lives and breathes it. He attends meetings every week. He works with Alpha
X Society.
And so they're located here in Doral, here in Miami. So you can get tapped into a community for yourself as well here in Miami. If you're looking for a good space to get into, I actually was a part of that space for a little while, scoping out the vibes, and everybody's a really good energy. So especially Mike too as well. They're very knowledgeable in crypto space and how they can get started. And so let's talk a little bit about XRP, man.
Yes.
What do you know about XRP?
Oh, XRP is one of the biggest projects in crypto. You know, with our global SWIFT payment system that we utilize in the United States of America here, it solves that problem when it comes to cross-border payments. You know, so when we're doing those international transactions with different countries, utilizing a blockchain like XRP allows us to spend a lot less money on those fees and the transaction costs when it comes to converting our currency from the US dollars to the country's currency that we're dealing with, right? When it comes to those international transactions. So XRP bridges that gap, and it allows us to pay pennies in fees. So, and then on top of that, instead of waiting for days or weeks for those transactions to process, XRP can do it in seconds, in minutes. So having the availability to have that on top of cheaper fees is easily the solution for what it is that we're dealing with the current problems that we're facing. So it solves a huge issue with the global SWIFT payment system, and it allows the United States to have a lot more access to other things as well, and not just us, the world.
Right.
It literally allows the world to have access to so much more. And with
Globally.
XRP, exactly, with XRP being the leader of the banks, of course, with the ISO 20022 protocol, simple terms, just a lot of the government tokens that they're focusing on, right? Including like Stellar Lumens, Cardano, Quant, tokens like that. It just gives the banks a huge advantage, and we know exactly where they're wanting to put their money because of the technology that's behind these cryptocurrencies.
That's awesome, man. My last question for you, man, really, is it too late for somebody to get into crypto?
So I would say it's not too late, but I would definitely say with what we have going on right now in the markets, it's heating up very quickly, and any day now that like the market could take off. So, you know, in a couple days, July 29th to the 30th, we have what's known as the FOMC meeting. So during that meeting, Jerome Powell, the chair of the Fed, he could decide whether to pause rates, meaning that they're not going to cut interest rates at all, or meaning that they're going to cut interest rates. If they pause rates, you'll definitely have a little bit more time to get yourself in position. But if he cuts rates, these markets can go through the roof tomorrow. So
man.
It's a toss-up right now. So you might have some more time, but you might also not have any more time. And the markets can go up, and they can do whatever they want at any time. So it's not like they're bound to just go up forever. You know, you will see retracements in this market throughout this cycle. And it's normal, because when we have those retracements, it gives us more room to go up even more. So just being aware of those signs and knowing that if we do cut rates, the markets can go crazy any day now. If we don't, we might have more time until September.
Okay. That's a lot of valuable information here. If you are interested in getting into crypto, I think Mike is the guy to connect with. He will get you set up in the safety. He got my crypto account set up in the safety department. He got my cold wallet storage, you know, set up safety as far as getting the emails. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you can get scammed in the crypto space. But if you play it safe and know the right people, like yourself, Mike, this is the man to tap into. Where can people find you?
So you can find me at Mike DiPreta DeFi on Instagram, MikeDiPreta That's my Instagram, and just you can reach out to me. And if anybody has any questions or you're concerned about getting started in the crypto space, feel free to hit me up anytime. I'd love to work with you and help you out.
Sounds good, man. Thank you, Mike, for giving us the valuable information, man.